What's going on, guys? It's Rod from Rod Capital. I'm going to go over play-by-plays of how to use the TTM Squeeze, or at least how I use the TTM Squeeze. We're going to start with Boeing, and we're going to use the on-demand feature. If you haven't used the on-demand feature, it's a feature on Thinkorswim platform, TD Ameritrade, and it allows you to reenact the previous sessions. You can't do the previous day, I believe, but any day before the previous day, you can replay. So we're going to hit on demand so I can show you guys exactly what I was thinking and what I did to execute these trades. Alrighty, so we have Boeing in a hourly squeeze here, right? And let's pull up April the 7th. Is actually when I got in. Let's back this up. About 9. Let's try 10. You know what? It's actually that Monday. All right. Alrighty, so we have Boeing on the 6th and a releasing from an hourly squeeze. Now, typically, I would just pause this. Typically, I would go ahead and sometimes I'll go ahead and I'll jump into the squeeze before the squeeze releases. You can play it that way. It adds on a little bit more risk, but as far as, risk reward and getting in before the crowd jumps in, you're there. It's going to be a little bit more riskier because you may not quite know where the stock is going, right? So that's always the case. Here, it's not really showing a clear direction of where the stock is going. So, the safest bet here would be to just wait for it to release, But hey, let's just say that you wanted to jump in now. I mean, even right here on the 1 hour chart, you can see this triangle. You guys can see this with this triangle forming, and then the release. And then it breaks this level of resistance, but it's quickly rejected. So, I mean, to me, that just would have been very chancy. You could have played this to the upside using that, and you would have banked pretty well. But I waited for the break, the open, and I saw that we opened above this level, and the green bars, the green dots here, and the light blue histogram bars are releasing to the upside momentum, which tells me that the stock is heading higher. So how would you play this? How would I play this, right? You have the open. Okay, I see that we're holding above this key level of resistance, turning now support. I would, me personally, probably wait for a sell-off at open. Usually people are probably taking profits. And here we get a retest of this important level. It's found support there. No coincidence, right? It's found support here previous times before. We're releasing from a squeeze. So clearly the stock is ready to release from this range, right? I would have hopped in, or I actually hopped in at the retest of this support. And you have the rest is history, right? Clearly you can see the explosion here from this level. I'm just going to fast forward this to about, let's just say 319. I still did it like 3:19 in the morning. Let's just fast forward to that Tuesday. So here we can see we got a retest of that level and then an explosion right to the next level. It's like a $18 move right there. I ended up holding. Oh no, I actually took profits there. But you can see, you can just see the burst of momentum. I actually think I did hold through this. If you're gonna use the, yeah, I ended up holding and then it gapped up, boom again, and then I sold up here. Like I didn't even bother to try to see what was gonna happen because usually with these squeezes, remember guys, you get 8 to 10 bars, right, of momentum. So I mean here, when I play this bounce, you know, we were already at 8 bars past that day, right? So I was really trying my luck here. But I had multiple contracts. If you want to play the running strategy is when you buy multiple contracts, you cut them as you go. So here you could have, you bought 3, you could have cut one here, cut another here before it closed and left one to ride. And if it pulled back on you, I mean, you've started here, right? So you're already in profit. Have a stop loss in mind. Stop loss probably would have been around here, and you can play it that way. That's one way that I played this TTM release. Let's go to April the 14th. I call this out to the group. We're going to check out Microsoft. Saw some members got in on this. All right, so here on Microsoft, we have a hourly squeeze, right? Very tricky, very tricky. It was giving us mixed signals because here you can see the red histogram bars are pointing to the down side below, which if you wanted to play this, I would have played this both ways. I mean, you can play it both ways. When you have the squeeze and you have these histogram bars pointing down, these red histogram bars pointing down, that's telling you that momentum is shifting to the downside. So let's just say you would have wanted to play this. I get a lot of questions like, how do you play squeezes intraday, right? Before they release. Well, when you see these red bars releasing to the downside, that's telling you that momentum is shifting to the downside. So theoretically, you could have waited for the close of this candle, this hourly candle, and we got a fake out here. But you know, that's what usually happens before you get that big move down. You get market makers trying to shake you out, right? And once you would have got a break below that close of 163.35, you could have played puts, used as your stop loss. See, it came back up. Actually, it went down some more. So that was a roughly like $1 move right there that you could have banked on playing to the downside. Here we see it finding support and just basically consolidating again. Again, you could have played a break above this level, this key level of resistance right here. It's not really key level, but this level of resistance right here to play to the upside because you can see that we have the yellow momentum bars pulling back. And we have a lot of buyers coming in, stepping in above the 50-day moving average. So that's a clear indication that we have possibly a reversal on our hands. I actually signaled this play for calls And let's just move this to the, swung this. All right, so like I say, hopping in before is kind of risky, but just think about it, guys. When you're hopping in before the squeeze releases, premium isn't relatively high. It's very quiet, right? The stock's consolidating is all that is, consolidating. So premium's not going to be through the roof. Now, once you come out of this squeeze release, those premiums are gonna jack up sky high, right? So like I say, it's more risk. It's also more reward. You want to be careful where the market's going when you're hopping into these squeezes. You want to have some sense of what's going on in the markets. At the end of the day, you won't know where the market's going. It's just all about keeping your risk minimal. And here you can see that we got a release to the upside from the hourly squeeze. We got a break of this key level of resistance and a continuation. Remember, guys, 8 to 10 bars of squeeze release. So here, and from what I've seen, sometimes it does apply even when you get the release from pre-market, because here we got the release in pre-market, right? We didn't get the release during the session. I still count these bars in pre-market. So like, let's say here, this is the first one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here we have going into open, I would have counted. I would say, all right, we're in our 6 bar. Typically, I wait for the pullback during the open. If it does skyrocket, I just missed it. I try not to jump in during that first hour, first couple of minutes when something just takes off, because usually you'll get that pullback. So you just wait for the pullback, like so, boom, signal a break above here. We tested it, right? But I never pulled out, didn't withdraw. I figured that market makers was playing with us, and we got a clean break above that resistance and a continuation higher. This call, I banked about roughly 150% profit before I completely took my gains on the re-entry above this break. So, just looking at this, guys, these squeeze plays can really be big for you. Just for kicks and giggles, gonna go back to January. Let's look at this Tesla play I took. Kind of like throw some squeezes at you guys so you guys can see how effective this thing is. I mean, it works for me like 8 out of 10 times. Like it doesn't work every time, but it works 8 out of 10 times. At least for me, it does. And for others, I've seen before. So here we have Tesla and a squeeze right before the close of the day. I didn't catch it here. I caught it here. I saw that we were squeezing, and we had a lot of buyers stepping in, breaking above this range here. So that was a first level indication that we were possibly going higher. And we got the histogram, light blue histogram bars pointing to the upside, which is a clear indication that we're going higher. And I play calls here. And as you can see, we got a huge move. This is a play I took back in January. I think this was for like 7.7K. So we got hourly squeezes. This is what I say. Typically on the hourly squeezes, I take my profits at like end of day. Like you can swing these 8 to 10 bars, like 8 to 10 hours. I do believe that I did swing these calls again, just like I did on BA, swung them to the next day on an hourly squeeze. I wouldn't recommend that. But if you have a strong market's rallying, and let's just say you bought more than one contract, hey, why not? Right? And risk reward, it played out for us for Tesla. All right, guys. That's just some quick play-by-play action on some tickers that I took using the squeeze indicator, the TTM squeeze indicator. I use the hourly charts, the 30-minute charts, 15-minute charts, the 1 minute charts when I am playing squeeze intraday. Sometimes the 4 hour charts as well. That BA play was a 4 hour chart, I do believe. It was a 1 hour chart, but I played a BA 4 hour chart squeeze before, and I really like the 4 hour charts because you can really swing those. Typically, you get a continuation of momentum into the next trading day, trading session. Well, that's how I play squeezes intraday. As volatility continues to lower, we see a continuation of volatility going to the downside. It'll be a lot easier for us to pull off more swings, and I'll have more videos on those to come. Feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what you think and what you'd like to see more of. Again, this is Rod coming to you from Rod Capital.